I have been recently thinking if I only had 3 months to learn English with all the language learning knowledge I have, how would I do it? Which exact steps would I follow if I had to start learning English from zero and if I wanted to do it in the next 3 months? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the exact steps I would take to learn English in 3 months. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Asim. I have been learning English for the last 5 years. I started learning English on my own. I made a lot of mistakes I wish I hadn't made, and then I became fluent by following the right strategies. Enough about me. How would I learn English in 3 months as quickly as possible if I could start from zero? The first thing I would do is I would define my goal. This is so important. I cannot stress this enough. When you start learning English, you need to clearly define what your goal is. Like, what do you want? What reward do you want from learning English? And if you just say, I'm learning English because I just want to learn English, this is a lazy response. You have to clearly define what you want to do with English because when you have a goal, you become easily motivated. You don't give up because you want a goal. But if you don't have a goal, if you just say, oh, I'm just learning English for the sake of learning it, then you're probably going to give up in maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So define what your goal is. Why do you want to learn English? Maybe you want to get a better job or get a promotion. Maybe you want to start your own business, your own YouTube channel. Whatever that goal is for you, just have a goal in mind. When I started learning English, my goal was to make people, make friends, and meet people from different countries around the world because I was an introvert. I didn't have much friends. I was kind of shy in my real life. So I wanted to learn English so that I can talk to people from different countries and make new friends, get exposed to new cultures. That was my goal and it kept me going. It took me and it got me from beginner to fluency in English. You need to define what that goal is for you. What is it that you're working so hard for? What are you striving for? What do you want to achieve with English? What will you do after you learn English? Ask yourself, imagine that tomorrow you wake up and you're speaking English fluently. What would you do? Like, what advantage or reward would you like to get from it? Would you like to start your own YouTube channel? Would you apply for that job that you've always wanted? Would you do that career? Or would you make friends and explore different cultures and learn from people from different countries? Whatever that goal is for you, I cannot tell you what goal you should have because everyone is different. But once you have a goal, it's really going to motivate you to work hard and, put in the work for the next few months, 3 months, to really learn and improve your English. If you don't have a goal, you're not going to improve much. I'm going to be honest with you. The second thing I would do if I had to learn English in 3 months is I would make a study routine and a plan. I would sit down and figure out how am I going to achieve this goal. Let's say my goal was to speak English fluently. Let's say I didn't care about writing and reading, right? My goal was just to speak English fluently. Which actions would I take and when will I do them? Because people get busy. Maybe you are in the university or you have a job and you're busy, a busy person. How would you learn English? Like, when will you do it? Will you do it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? So the first thing is schedule some time for English. Once you have scheduled a time, maybe it's 1 hour, maybe it's 2 hours, the more the better. For most people, I would recommend 2 hours because in 2 hours you can learn English within 3 months, I believe, right? Once you have scheduled some time, the next thing you need to find out is what to do in that time. Like, what actions and tasks would you need to do to learn English in that time? I'm going to give you two things here that are really going to help you, really improve your English. The first thing is to consume content which is appropriate for your level in English. What do I mean by appropriate for your level? When beginners start learning English, what they do is mostly they listen to advanced movies, like they watch a movie And then they complain, they're like, Asim, but you told me to listen to English, but I don't understand because I'm watching this movie and I'm a beginner and it's really hard for me to understand what they're saying. I cannot get anything. Well, you're listening to content which is designed for native speakers and advanced learners. Of course, you're not going to understand. I want you to take this process step by step. Like, you need to start from content, listening to content, and reading things which are appropriate for your level. So, for beginners, I would recommend watching YouTube videos like this one because videos are easier to understand than natural conversations in movies. Also, if you're into reading, you can read like children's books, children's story books. They're pretty easy to understand as well. I bought some for my sisters as well. Like, they're absolute beginners in English, and I recommended them those children books, and they're learning new things from it and enjoying the story basically. So consumption is important and essential for learning English. Without it, you cannot really learn a language. So consume content which is appropriate for your level. I recommend content which you understand like 50 to maybe 80%. If you understand something 100%, then you're not going to learn anything from it. And if you don't understand something at all, then you're going to get bored and not learn anything. So the sweet spot is like 50 to 80, 90% maybe. That's what you need to focus on in those hours that you've scheduled for learning English. The second thing you need to do in that time is to practice speaking despite of making mistakes. Look, when you start learning English, when you start speaking English, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Like, let's be honest, like, learning English without mistakes is impossible. You're gonna make them. So just make peace with your mistakes. If you make a mistake and then you give up and you never speak in English again, you're not going to improve. That's not how you learn a language. You learn a language by speaking it constantly, by speaking it all the time, by having conversations in English. Even if you make mistakes, even if you get stuck, even if you don't know what to say and forget words and all of these problems are real. They will happen to you, or maybe they already have happened to you, and they happened to me as well. I faced all of those, every one of those single problems when I was speaking English. I remember this one time I was talking to a friend and I got stuck in the middle. I didn't know what to say. Like, the conversation just stopped. I knew what to say in my mind, of course, but I couldn't find the right words to say that thing. And it might be happening to you as well. So just practice speaking anyway. Like, go out there and have conversations anyway. If you forget something in the middle, first, try to remember what to say or phrase it in a different way or begin talking about something else, like change the subject or get help from the person you're talking to. But don't ever give up. Don't let this be your last conversation. You have to keep going. Day after day, you have to practice speaking every single day. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, if you're absolute beginner, the best way to start is to just start speaking with yourself, which is how I got started because I was too shy, too insecure about my English. So I just started speaking on my own every evening. I would speak with myself about a random topic for maybe like 20 minutes, and then my conversation would be over. The next day, I would do it again and again. After like 30, maybe 40 days, I got confident enough to like talk to a real person. Start by speaking with yourself, then move on to speaking with other learners. But if you want to improve really, really fast, if you want to take your English from beginner to fluent in like 3 months, you have to talk with someone who has higher English level than you. And the reason behind this is that feedback. When you talk to someone who has higher English level than you, they see the mistakes that you might have missed. They notice your mistakes, they give you corrections, they give you feedback, and they help you improve, which helps you improve a lot faster than if you just keep talking to someone who is at your level and you keep making the same mistakes. That way, Yes, you do practice, but you will not improve as fast as if you are talking with someone who has higher English level than you and is able to give you personal guidance and feedback. The next thing I would do to learn English in 3 months if I started from zero would be to focus on my confidence rather than accuracy. Most English learners get stuck thinking about accuracy. They say to themselves, okay, I will learn some grammar rules and I will learn all of the structures of English. I will memorize a lot of vocabulary in English and then I will try to have a conversation, and only then I will try to use my English. I think this is the wrong approach to learning English. This is this perfectionist kind of mindset. You think to yourself, I will do everything and I will learn everything before I use my English, before I practice my speaking. And this is the wrong mindset. This is going to hold you back from becoming fluent in English. It's like saying that I will read books about swimming, I will, read 20 books about swimming, I will take all these classes, I will learn the rules, how to like move my body and how to, breathe while swimming before I jumped into the water. That's not how you're going to learn swimming. You learn by doing the thing, not by thinking about and by learning about doing the thing. Taking action is a lot more important and more helpful than thinking about taking the action. Most people think about learning English, but they don't actually do it. They focus on accuracy. They say, okay, I'll first try to reduce my mistakes and only then I will speak. Instead, what you should do is focus on confidence. Focus on speaking English confidently. And I'm telling you, if you're confident, people will ignore your mistakes. Like when you're talking to people in conversations, as long as you're making sense, as long as you know some basic English, people will completely ignore your mistakes. There's this celebrity called Sofia Vergara, maybe you've heard of her. When she speaks English, her accent is terrible, her pronunciation is terrible, she makes a lot of mistakes. She probably doesn't know a lot of vocabulary, but people listen to her when she speaks because she's confident, she has conviction in what she's saying. So, when you're confident in English, when you're speaking English confidently, people will perceive you as a good English learner, as an expert, as a confident person, and they will completely ignore your mistakes as long as you're making sense. Because the important thing is that people don't care about your language, they care about what you want to say, they care about your message. They don't care about your mistakes or how you're delivering that message. So focus on confidence, focus on speaking confidently. Don't have this perfectionist mindset. Don't try to be perfect before you start. Just start and you will improve as you go. Now, before I end this video, I want to give you a really important mindset, which is to believe in yourself. If you don't believe learning English in 3 months is possible, then you're not going to do it, because if you don't believe it, you're not going to take the action, which means you're not going to improve and learn English in 3 months. But if you believe in yourself, even if sometimes you're delusional, you will take the action because you know it's possible. You know it's possible. You're practicing every day, you're listening to English every day, you're doing all of these things, then you will achieve your goal. So just believe in yourself. Yes, in 3 months, you cannot go from zero to fluency in English. In 3 months, I think it's very unrealistic. But chances are you've probably already been learning English for a while. If you can understand this video, you're not at zero. You're probably lower intermediate, maybe upper intermediate, maybe upper beginner. Whatever your level is, you can go from that level to fluency in 3 months. Maybe you cannot go from zero to fluency, but you're not at zero. Chances are, if you can understand this video, your English is probably like better than zero. That's my point. The point I'm trying to make here is that learning English in 3 months, becoming fluent, is very, very realistic, especially if you follow these strategies. If you need further help with improving your English in the next 3 months, join my private coaching community. Inside, I do coaching calls. I speak with you like 3 times a week. We have conversations about different topics. You might be able to make friends and connect with people from different countries around the world. So it's just a nice and cool place for you to, learn and improve your English really fast because you will be getting feedback and corrections and all of these things directly from me. Okay, if you want to join, you can join with the first link in the description below and see you inside. Bye.